Hi, I'm Dan Clays, the Chief Executive of Omnicom Media Group in the UK, and these are my biggest lessons. Invest your time in gaining knowledge in areas that are going to be high value in the future. So a really good example of this was back in the early 2000s, I worked for a pretty visionary boss who said to me, go and learn about broadband. So I gave him a fairly quizzical look and went and bought books around the subject, and quickly discovered that it was about to change the way that media operates, and the ability for consumers and audiences to download videos, share files would suddenly open up the marketplace. And I gained knowledge about an area that not many other people did, not only in my organisation, but in the wider marketplace. And so I got access to senior clients and marketers. I had a column in Marketing Week, and that was simply because I'd taken the time to gain knowledge about an area other people didn't know about. And the market and the industry is so wide open to that now. It's a really, really big opportunity for everyone. Be an entrepreneur. You don't have to have your own company to be entrepreneurial. There are so many TV shows today that make it feel like you have to be that startup founder to be an entrepreneur. Being entrepreneurial is simply about creating value and ideas and difference in an organisation in ways that other people haven't thought about yet. And I've always had that mindset. When I was at school, I used to cycle off to our local print shop, gain some of the offcuts, take them to school, sell them for a margin, and that just introduced me to the idea about how you can start to create value in ways that other people haven't thought about that, and that's how you can create edge. So I really passionately believe that anyone could be entrepreneurial. That can range in our organisation. That could be for me launching a new product, a capability, a different kind of ad break. But it could be about simply finding a new way of developing a reporting process or redesigning the office. Anyone could be an entrepreneur. It's about having the proactive ideas to do that and the inclination to do that, and you can be the difference. Keep perspective and focus on what you can control. Working life is full of ups and downs. In my industry, that can be like winning and losing pitches, and that can feel like being a football manager at times. But the reality is, you are never as good as people say you are, and you're never as bad as people say you are. You just got to keep a sense of perspective and keep making the right decisions. A really good example of that would be, 10, 12 years ago, we were going through a period at an agency I was at where we were losing a few pitches, but we put a new team in place, new processes in place. We just stayed true to making the right decisions because we knew we were doing the right things. And sure enough, very quickly, we turned that losing sequence of pitches into a really exciting winning run because we knew that we were doing the right things. You just got to stay true to that. And I think in today's world, where we're all connected, got emails coming at us all the time, it is really important to keep that sense of perspective, stay focused on the biggest priorities, never forget what you are being measured on, what your fundamental objectives are, and if you stay in that lane, you will do just fine. Create your own future. So where I grew up was in Essex, and most people I went to school with worked in the city, or they developed a trade. They certainly weren't thinking about a career in advertising, so I had to find my own way into the industry. And then as my career progressed, I was working in a TV department, and it really depended in terms of your career development on how long you'd been doing it for or how long you were going to do it for, which I didn't necessarily want to go along with. And so digital came along, and that provided me a real opportunity to fast track my own career, and so I moved into that space. Now, that doesn't mean that controlling your future and pushing for your future means you have to move organisations, but it is an opportunity for you to think about what does your boss need for you in the future? What does your next role look like, and how can you start doing that now? So really take the chance and the opportunity to create your own future. Progress over perfection. I have a trait that is all about having really high standards. I have to admit that when I look at a PowerPoint presentation, I will be immediately drawn to the formatting as well as the content. But you have to be careful. You have to be careful because it can be derailing, it can slow things down if you are ultimately constantly seeking perfection when you need to make progress. It's super important to get that get that balance right. Of course, occasionally this can lead to the odd mistake or things that are imperfect, but that's okay, providing that you're constantly learning from them. So whether that is a pitch in our industry that we haven't won, and we know the reasons why, and then next time we'll be even more successful. So keep thinking about progress over perfection, but keep those high standards. Preparation is what can take you from good to great. There may be people at work that you see at times that have completely stolen the show, and you're thinking, how have they managed to do that? Well, 9 out of the 10 best performing organizations, companies, people putting on a play, whatever it might be, it's all about first class preparation. Whether you're doing something like public speaking, a presentation in front of a big audience, that can be significantly less anxiety-inducing if you have prepared. The quality of the meetings that you're running or you're taking part in significantly improve if everyone is prepared, not least in a hybrid environment. So take the time to make sure you are really, really well prepared, and it can make a massive difference.